bill's passage can now allow Republicans to overhaul the tax code without any support from Democrats. Republican Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina serves on the Finance Committee, and that was quite an impressive thing for the Republicans to do last night because, so there haven't been that many victories so far this year. But as far as this goes, I think that it's extremely significant. How about you?
Absolutely. I talk about the opportunity to deliver what I'm calling the middle class miracle, tax relief for folks in the middle class. The budget was the necessary precursor, the prerequisite for that conversation to start in earnest. So we are excited to be on this side of a 51-49 vote, and it obviously shows that Republicans can stick together when the American people are our focus.
So just to explain to people, the procedure is that if you can pass the budget, then within that fiscal year, you can then try to do tax reform under what's called reconciliation. So that's why you only need 51. Is that right?
Exactly. So the reconciliation vehicle allows us to move legislative priorities that are financial in nature to a 51 vote as opposed to the normal 60 vote threshold in the Senate.
Well, of course, Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, was none too pleased. Let's listen to him and get your take on it.
Sounds good.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a quote. I thought I had sound. Well, I won't try to imitate his voice, but that would have been amazing. This nasty back and forth between budget greenlights cuts to Medicare and Medicaid in order to give a tax break to big corporations and the wealthiest Americans. It shifts the burden from the wealthy and puts it squarely on the back of the middle class and blows a hole in the deficit to boot. I think it will go down in history as one of the worst budgets Congress ever passed. So to me, it sounds like they could have cut and paste that for any Republican budget. But do they have a point on the deficit?
I don't think so. Here's the fact. If you believe that high taxes puts us in a poor competitive position, that lower taxes puts us in a better competitive position, if we're in a better competitive position, we're going to grow our economy. That growth of our economy that we need to make up for any short-term deficits is about 0.4%. So we can make up 0.4% with better taxes and better regulations. You'll find that our economy will grow faster than usual. Our usual is 1.9%. All that combined together, simply said, we'll have more tax revenue, we'll have more jobs, a healthier economy, and everybody gets to keep more of their paycheck. That is a false statement by Chuck Schumer.
So this debate is going to really come down to, is this really mostly helping the wealthy? And how can you guarantee that people that live in your home state of South Carolina will actually have more money in their pocket? Because I imagine that's all they ask you is, how much more money am I going to have in my paycheck every week?
My funny hashtag is keep your money. And one of the reasons why that is my hashtag is because when I go to the barbershop, I know you're wondering why I go to the barbershop, but when I go to the barbershop, everything I hear is about... It really is. It's a great place to have a chat. They all want to know, how much of my money do I get to keep? And here's the answer. The average person in this country will see about $4,000 annually stay in their paychecks. Said differently, $350 a month on average, the average person in our country gets to hold on to, because our focus is hardworking, everyday Americans, not the rich. That is a good start for us. And then the second tier is those folks who are living at the federal poverty level. By doubling the standard deduction, we get to say to those folks, they get to have more of their money to take care of their family, their kids, and their requirements.
But okay, so there could be a hitch, maybe not, but right now as we speak, the House Freedom Caucus and the chair of that, Congressman Mark Meadows from North Carolina, they're meeting right now. These are the House guys, and they have to decide whether they can accept the Senate budget. If they can't, there's going to be more of a back and forth. But the timing of this is important because the president wants us on his desk by December 1st. Secretary Mnuchin promised it. Do you think that the House will accept what you guys put together on the Senate side?
I am very encouraged. The word coming out of the House as late as last night when we were still on the floor was that the budget as we constructed it probably is acceptable for the Freedom Caucus. If that's the case, that saves us about 2 weeks of negotiations with the House. Said differently, it makes the timeline of Thanksgiving realistic. Without that, we certainly are pushing up against a deadline of the end of the year.
You can imagine that Senator Schumer is probably hoping that this is another Lucy with the football situation, but you sound confident, and we appreciate you being here today. Thanks, Senator Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dana.